Let's talk about INFJ anger, or should I say INFJ rage? yeah, yeah, something that is not talked about often is the INFJ rage or anger. I don't know about you guys, but this, yeah, like I said, it's something that we don't really talk about because we hyper focus on the good attributes, right? Like, oh yeah, like whatever, we're kind and so like for me, I think INFJ's rage. It's kind of like a pressure cooker, you know? It's like we keep taking things on, allowing abuse, allowing disrespect, allowing our boundaries to be crossed, allowing toxic behavior, and we just keep allowing it. And I don't know, I think for me, like in the past, I would do it one, because I was giving people the benefit of the doubt. Two, I was in observation mode because I know people are not perfect, and sometimes they'll falter, so I had to like make sure that it was a one time, two time thing versus a pattern. And I certainly didn't want to overreact, like straight away without differentiating the two. So yeah, I would just sit back and then allow things to happen over and over and over. Well, when I was younger, I would let it happen over and over and over and over and over and over. And now it's just like, okay, if it's happened 3 times, that's definitely a sign that that's a pattern and it's not a one off kind of thing. And at this point, now that I'm older and I'm wiser, and I just, to some degree, don't give a shit as much as I did when I was younger because I'm more sure of myself, I'll probably speak up on it. And also, before, I didn't speak up because I was afraid of hurting people's feelings. Now I'm not so much. Like I really don't mind speaking up, because if somebody's doing something disrespectful and they're disregarding my well-being, I my tolerance level is much smaller now, and I'm also able to speak up and speak for myself, and call a spade, you know. Um, yeah, but INFJ rage, holy camoly! I know when I was younger and I wasn't able to regulate my anger as well. Oh my goodness, how do I say this? I wouldn't take my anger out on others. I would take it out on myself, if that even makes sense. Um, and it's really strange. I feel like we've talked about this in a previous video, but I don't know, I cannot recollect for the life of me. Um, Objects around me would break. Sometimes I wouldn't even have to touch the objects, and they would break. And I noted how destructive and how powerful the energy behind the anger was in me, that I really try not to get to that place. I try to, and if I do get to that place, I have to regulate myself, like consciously regulate, like, and transmute the anger into calmness, if that even makes sense, because literally things around me will get destroyed. And I don't like that. And I know that I'm generating the anger, so it's just like I need to regulate it. So a lot of times now I just stay very still and I stay very quiet whenever I am feeling rage or anger. And it's funny because even though I'm not moving and I'm completely silent, trying to neutralize the anger, that scares people too. You know, they can't handle it. I think it's almost like because I think like your energy speaks for itself. So it's like it doesn't matter what's coming out of your mouth. It doesn't matter how you're moving your body. I mean, it does to some degree if you want to look at it from a more surface level, but from a deeper level, your energy speaks, you know? So whenever I am in a in a place of rage or anger, even when I'm sitting in place in silence and trying to contain it and transmute it, people are obviously absolutely just like in terror. I don't know what, I don't know how else to say it. One, because it's out of character. Two, because the energy is just speaking for itself, you know? And like, yeah, I don't know what else to say about our anger and rage. I know there was times where like I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but I will because I like transparency. I have, I don't think I really have much to hide, but one time I was very angry, very extremely, on a scale of 1 to 10, 18 angry. And I remember just holding myself in place and almost like detaching from the emotion, but certainly feeling it, and just staying in place in silence. And the person who was in my presence was freaking out. And I wasn't even saying anything or moving. And they were like, calm down, calm down. And inside, I was like, I am trying to calm down because I really don't want this energy to get out because I know how destructive it can be. And anger is destructive. Think about it. Look at angry people. What are they doing in the world? And I feel like angry people, it's almost like their anger isn't nearly as amplified as an INFJ's anger is, you know, because it's still it's simmering and it's brewing and it's bubbling into their interactions, into their environments. But ours, when it comes, it's like this huge tsunami, right? It's not like just, I don't know, in micro doses or little doses. But yeah, I remember, yeah, the person that was in my presence at the time was like freaking out, and he was like, "Calm down, please, please, just calm down." And then whatever, when I calmed down and I was able to speak like this again, they told me that they were really afraid and that I looked like the Hulk with like veins popping. I was like, oh, wasn't aware of that because I was literally trying to regulate and transmute that emotion in that moment. And it takes a lot of willpower to just stay calm with that and sit in that emotion and transmute it, regulate it, and allow it to pass. You know what I'm saying? Most people are super reactive. But that was my little ditty on INFJ rage and anger. That's why, I don't know if you guys operate the same, but I really try to just maintain a state of equilibrium and calmness and peace. And a lot of times I may seem overly jovial and bubbly because I don't want to let little trivial things trigger me into a lower vibrational state, you know. And most of the time when I am triggered into like, I don't know, like I'm triggered to be angry, it's because somebody is doing something very disrespectful to me, or I've gotten to a point where I have allowed a lot of disrespect to accumulate. You know, I've bypassed it when it was small, and I just let a lot of like disrespect to accumulate to a point where I'm just like, whew. But for the most part, I try to be neutral and calm and understanding and cooperative and kind. But yeah, as I get older, it's just like now, like I said, now that I know myself, now that I can see things clearly, now that I can recognize projections versus triggers and people trying to manipulate, gaslight, or pull the wool over my eyes, I am more apt to like address it early on so that I don't get so angry. you know, versus before when I was younger. I didn't know what the frick I was doing. I was like holding back so much because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. Now I'm like, no, what you're doing is not okay. I'm going to call you out on it, and I'm going to be very firm about that too, you know. Anyways, I don't know if it made sense, but I hope you learned something from this. If you didn't, cool. If you did, cool. You know, have a wonderful day. Blessings to one and all, and thank you for stopping by. Amen.